skill points from Renown.
Skill points.
Skill points.
Why has Elon Musk chosen the stupidest name possible for his rebrand?
Because he's very retarded.
That's the whole... When people say, oh yeah, it's on Twitter. I mean, Twitter. It's kind of like a mouth fart, but it's kind of fun to say. When people are saying, like, the latest post on X.
Yeah, let's do it for the podcast, because that's the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I'm going to start right now because Masami's other thing has started late, and she might be showing up later on, but yeah. So yeah, I'll get this going. Hello everybody, welcome to Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is DrNiggle. I'm joined by OmegaConstruct Zero Burn. Masami might be here later. There was no podcast last week because everybody was sorting themselves out. Everybody had a bad week last week. Except for Omega. Omega had a good week last week.
Busy week. New job is fun and exhausting. Mostly exhausting.
But I bet you are sleeping like a champ.
Dude, I'm on a normal schedule, like a fucking loser.
Yeah, I know. Going to bed at 11 is fucking gay, huh? I think so, anyway.
Waking up at 6:40. I mean, I'm one of those people who, like, I function on 6 hours of sleep. So I'm like in bed at midnight and waking up at, like, my alarm is at 6:45 every morning. Now, waking up at midnight, or like going to bed at midnight, you know, for me, I'm used to going to bed at like an early night for me before I started this job was like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I would be up till 4 or 5 on a regular basis.
See, I don't know. I think that, because it happened to me too. I think like mid-30s, we just get, because there was a point back when I was in my 20s where I could sleep for like 12, 14, 16 hours in a day. Not a problem. In my 30s, it's like, 6 hours, and then I'm awake. I can keep laying in bed, but I am awake. So I don't know what that's about.
I learned, I think, the limit of where my cutoff is on Sunday of this week. Went to bed at midnight, woke up at 4:30 a.m. because I was thinking I was going to miss my alarm and I had to take my sister to work because I was subsequently taking her to the airport so that she could fly to Wisconsin.
Yeah, that too. The internal alarm clock is real.
And she ended up texting me at like 2 a.m. and was like, hey, by the way, I'm not going to work today. And then my body clock had already woken me up. So it was like, fuck you, you're not going back to sleep right now.
Yeah. Yep. I also have this grace period. I get tired starting around 10 p.m. And if I don't go to bed by 11, then I'm not going to get tired again until about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I can't. I'm glad for both of you that you can go to sleep at midnight. I can't. I'm fucked. If I'm not ready to sleep, I'm fucked.
Yeah, get a job as a postman. You'll fucking be sleeping like a baby.
Hey, no, I did. I mean, I can remember back when I did UPS. That's my only attachment to the mails. But it was the same way. But in that case, it was like, I had to go to bed at like 11 o'clock because I had to get up at 5.
I'm fucking out. I hit the bed and I go to sleep. That's not something I ever do.
Yep. It's good.
Honestly, been nice.
So anyway, I do want to fucking talk about Twitter though, because
guys, this has been a hilarious week for Twitter. I mean, not even week, like 2 days, 3 days since Elon decided to fuck things up again worse.
What? Yeah, just the name just baffles me. The graphic design also is not.
Yeah. Mr. Musk has decided to rebrand Twitter to the letter X.
This is a thing I actually hold a degree in, and I'm telling you, this logo is bad.
Yeah. I mean, literally everything about this is ridiculous. Like, the logo was created by just fucking someone. Because Elon posted on Twitter, anybody makes a cool logo tonight, I'll like send it live. I'll make that the logo. And of course, his sycophants jumped on board, and that's how Twitter got its new logo.
Okay, wait. So is this the actual logo, or is this the placeholder until so? Oh no, it says the user submitted Twitter logo. Well, this is a joke then, because this is literally an alphanumeric character from probably a typeface that I own. I bet I could figure out what typeface this is from. So someone just went into Photoshop, made themselves a black canvas, made a text box, blew the text box in, changed the font, the typeface, and then changed the font color to white, hit X, and then hit export. Quick export.
That's not even the best part of it all, though. Like, there's also the part where Elon banned the X Videos Twitter account because he wants to call Twitter videos X videos. So good luck fighting that copyright infringement suit or trademark infringement suit.
I just talked about this. Okay, both of you are intimately familiar with wrestling. You know it way better than I am. But yeah, this is WWF all over again.
Yep.
He's gonna lose.
Oh,
honestly,
hands
I'm
down,
amazed.
he's gonna lose.
I still don't understand how the WWF lost that, because like that's very obviously a non-competing trademark. The World Wildlife Fund and the World Wrestling Federation do not have any overlap in what they are. Their goals are as companies.
Certainly
so
not.
I always found that absurd.
Can you imagine Nana's surprise when she uses her social security check to donate to adorable pandas and instead finds out that it's going to large sweaty gladiators who body slam each other on television?
Nana finds out that her
depends on how cool your grandma is, really.
Really. That her monthly stipend is going to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's The Rock Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dwayne Rock isn't even from the same countries that pandas come from, so that's deceptive. Dwayne Rockson.
The latest development that I've seen is apparently the trademark for the letter X regarding social media has already been claimed 6 years ago by Meta.
By Meta, mate. Yeah. So
here we are again. First, it was Facebook's or Instagram. What was it? Threads? Is that what they're called? No. Yeah. Threads. And now Facebook. I mean, we'll just call it what it is. Facebook owns the trademark for what Elon Musk has entirely arbitrarily and without forethought changed the name of his social media site to. So real smart there, buddy.
It's like he doesn't talk to anybody before he makes these decisions with his multi-billion-dollar company.
I mean, you say that it's like, no, it is. Like, that's just what it is. He fired everyone who doesn't just kiss his ass. Like, literally any independent thinker who is ever at Twitter is gone.
It's weird. It's like the three of us have some idea what competent management would do, but yeah.
It's because all three of us have worked as competent managers.
It's just, but what do we know? We're not the second richest man in the world.
I mean, if you actually look at the pattern, the funny thing about it is Elon clearly has some bizarre love for the letter X. He named, SpaceX. He named one of his Teslas the Model X. His child, which I believe his name is pronounced Kyle, starts with an X. His name starts with an X.
I thought the kid's name was like Xanathar or something.
Well, it starts with somebody actually figured it out. Somebody figured it out. It starts with an X, which is the Greek letter Chi. It's then the AE, like that sort of combined AE symbol.
Yeah.
And then it's 12, which the 12th letter of the alphabet is, I believe, L. So, yeah. And apparently, Elon has owned the trademark, or sorry, he has owned the URL x.com for ever. He has long had, bullshit dreams that he's going to create a website that'll be like, and he said something along the effects of X will one day be like, the main vehicle for global finance and banking or something. And like, it goes back to his PayPal days. Like he originally, he started a payment processing company called X.com. It merged with another company that became PayPal. And he ended up buying the X.com domain back from PayPal when PayPal booted him. So he's been sitting on it ever since. He clearly, legitimately has some sort of fetish or love of the letter X. And I'm glad that, that's the latest thing that he's choosing to look like a fucking massive idiot over. The letter X.
I think for the anniversary podcast, I want to get a list of domains that Linus has bought over the past year, because he buys bullshit domains, but they're infinitely more entertaining than the letter X.
Facts.
I mean, I just don't understand the logic at all. Like, Twitter is one of the most recognizable brands in the world. It's in a group of, off the top of my head, I can only think of one other thing, but I'm sure there's a few others. But it's in a very small group of companies who have become so ubiquitous in their industry that they have become a verb. Like, there's Google and there's tweeting. Like, I'm going to Google something or I'm going to tweet something. Like, he's throwing away the most recognizable, one of easily the most recognizable brands in the world for a generic fucking letter. So, they're not going to be called tweets anymore. So what are they going to be called? X's? I mean,
that's what I started off saying, is that, you can say, did you see the latest tweet out from so and so? No, did you see the latest X? Did you read this X? Did you want to see what my X has to say?
Maybe I was going to say, just start a petition. Like, when you make an X post, it's called an excrement.
What's the latest excrement from Elon Musk? That's good. I'm
going to steal Elon Musk just spew an excrement all night long.
Oh my God! Could you imagine if Trump does ever come back from Truth Social, the amount of excrement that he'll post?
I can hardly wait.
I mean, I know we've talked about Twitter and Elon. I am just, he keeps somehow lowering the bar, or maybe raising, depending on your perspective, of his stupidity. And
no, it is. It's the whale, or it's the hamburgers thing from Futurama all over again, except for it's Elon Musk puking out stupidity, and the robot's just like, it just keeps coming and coming.
It just blows my mind that people in the world still think he's smart. So many people are just bought into this bullshit meritocracy idea that simply because he is rich, he is also a genius.
Wait, but statistically speaking, there's a large population of the world that is actually technically more stupid than Elon Musk. So there you go. You got a huge crowd to draw. This is a George Carlin thing all over again.
So let me just say this. There is a fine line between absolute genius and utter stupidity. It is a fine line.
Yeah, but it is. I think people say that because because geniuses are often eccentric, But like, there's a pretty wide gap between an eccentric genius and a genuinely stupid like person where you can't understand their decisions. And Elon has fully crossed that gulf. Like, it's no longer like, oh man, there must be some method to the madness. It's
I wonder
what the fuck are you doing?
I wonder if we could create a graph that shows that the amount of money that one person has is equal to the level of stupidity that that person possesses.
That was Zero. I can tell you that the line, that fine line you're speaking of, I can tell you approximately where it is, because it's in the Atlantic Ocean, and it's about 2 kilometers down.
Damn. Too soon. So what do you get when you cross the Atlantic Ocean with the Titanic? About halfway.
Hell.
But the no, it there has to be some type of correlation. It is. So I did not mean to hit that button. I'm sorry. I will turn off my soundboard.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, good. That's good. Only I heard that.
Okay, saved.
So it just, there has to be a correlation. There has to be between the massive amount of money that one individual has and the level of stupidity.
Yeah, the increasing number of stupid decisions that they make. The only correlation I'm aware of is the one that South Park proved with the amount of money and the cure for AIDS. That is a wicked callback that I don't expect.
It is.
I don't expect.
I remember that episode.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. Yeah, there's a reason he doesn't have AIDS, because he sleeps in a bed of money.
I mean, fun fact, AIDS is totally, like, we've beaten AIDS now. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we've pretty much beaten it. Like,
yeah, there was some really exciting medical progress done last year of that. I remember that, but I haven't paid attention to it since.
Basically, the current drugs make it so that viral loads are completely suppressed.
Yeah, we have a cocktail now that you can take indefinitely.
And you can't even transmit it anymore. Like, if you have HIV and you're on these drugs, you like can't even transmit it.
So, which is glorious.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I'm not willing to test the theory,
about fucking
but
time. Oh, I will go look at that, because there was 2 things exciting happened last year that I remember. First of all, there was enormous progress with Alzheimer's treatment, and there was also enormous progress with HIV/AIDS treatment. And the Alzheimer's one absolutely fucking blew my mind, because they figured out how they basically figured out how to target what happens when you have Alzheimer's disease is the myelin sheaths on your neurons get thicker, and it gets more difficult for electric signals to transfer between brain cells, between neurons. So they figured out a way to target neurons that were malfunctioning and have these thicker myelin sheaths by introducing a retrovirus that attached junk to them, and that junk attracted the body's own white blood cells. So white blood cells would come along and they would basically eat the damage off of the cells, and it was genius. It was simple, and it was basically instructing your own body how to fix it. So after I did that, yeah, I was just like, fuck yeah.
You know, you guys know that I lost my grandfather last year due to Alzheimer's, and when I saw that gives me hope. It gives me hope that maybe the next person won't have to suffer. So, I mean,
that's the goal.
Because it is a terrible fucking disease. It's not just rough for the person who is dealing with it. It's really hard on the family too, because the person that they know and love just completely changes.
Yeah, that's why it's so monstrous.
I feel like it's far worse for the family, because, like, if you suffer from Alzheimer's, you get to meet new and interesting people every day. What's not to love?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, I have a video collection that I could just start watching all over again. It would be like it was brand new again.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's kind of a messed up way to look at it, but
Except for in modern day television series, I would have to keep on watching the same 3 starter episodes over and over again, because after that I just wouldn't be able to follow the plot at all. Nobody does standalone shit anymore. Except the Orville.
Good
Orville
stuff.
season 4 due out. Yeah. Orville season 4 in the works. Witcher season 3, I think the last episodes come out tomorrow. 25th.
Foundation's out. They're starting to dribble out. I'm not watching it until they're all out, though.
Oh yeah, all right. Thank you. I'll put that on. I'll pay attention to that. Yeah, I also want to binge that when they're done with that.
Yeah, I'm super fucking stoked.
They have like 6.5 more books to go, so I have high hopes for that for the next couple seasons at least.
I'm just glad it was all done before the writer and actor strikes started.
Oh yeah, in other news, Hollywood's gone on strike because...
Damn.
Did we already talk about this on the podcast?
No, I don't think we did.
I had this discussion with somebody else then, because yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But the actors and the crux, as I understand it, is that it's time for SAG to negotiate contracts with Hollywood studios again. Hollywood studios have been making bank off streaming services, and they've been taking advantage of actors and writers and everybody involved in production because they don't have to report on the numbers. So there's no real solid, defined way, industry-wide, for people to tell how successful a show is, and how many times shows are replayed, how many residuals these people who participated in these productions should be making. So studios have been enjoying that. They've been enjoying that for years, and they're like, oh, let's get away with this as long as possibly we can, and now it's the end of as long as you possibly can.
The streaming economy, if you want to call it that, has effectively turned being a writer, and unless you're a big name actor, acting has always kind of been a gig economy, so to speak. Oh, my game froze. There it is. But they've made it so that you can't really have a career as a writer in Hollywood anymore, because you don't get residuals on things on streaming, and they just hire you, on a short-term contract to write a show. And like you said, they don't, publicly track views. They don't do any of that, so nobody gets residuals. And they're trying to literally remove the career from writing. And also they're trying to start using AI for shit, and
yeah, that was the other thing that really made me smile was SAG brought up the fact that, hey, under this contract you can scan an extra and use their likeness and pay them for 1 day of work, and then you own them and their likeness and possibly their voice in perpetuity, so you can use that AI generated actor forever without paying the original actor anything except for the day that they came in and made the model. And Hollywood, or one studio, just came back, fired right off, hey, that's not true. We only own their likeness for that movie, and if we want to use it again, we're going to have to pay them for another day for the next movie. And I was like, how is that better?
Jet Li turned down, I think it was a Netflix movie. I read an article where he turned down something because in the contract it said that they would 3D mocap all of his martial arts moves, and they would have, the rights to that footage. But really, I mean, that's less, when it comes to that, that's less AI, and that's more just, getting some, whatever stuntman to do some karate scenes and then superimposing, Jet Li's body on top of it, or using, the mocap stuff again. But the real AI issue is with writing. One of the things that the actors are picketing, they're saying I will never read a line that wasn't written by a human. That's a picket sign that I've seen a fair amount of. So it's nice to see that the writers and actors are unified and showing solidarity in the strikes. But yeah, it's a really shitty kind of situation for, I mean, hell, that's the reason I don't write anymore. At least Hollywood writers have a union that they can, a strong one that they can actually like fight with. Whereas like as a freelance writer, for web content, what I was doing, like there's no way I can compete with AI. Either no way I can compete with AI, or no way I can compete with some guy from India who charges $5 for a 700-word article.
I saw I know that it's a meme, but I'd like to think that it's slowly happening. But it's just we're sitting here waiting for AI to completely replace us. Meanwhile, AI keeps observing us and keeps on getting more stupid. So, yeah.
I mean, not wrong.
Well, Rod brought this up when he was in Boston and we were having dinner. He said that the problem specifically with AI language models is that they keep on. We've reached a point now where AI language models have begun more and more learning from one another. So it's this incestuous inward spiral that just keeps making things more and more terrible.
Well, I think what's really interesting about what we are currently thinking of when we talk about AI is mostly Chat GPT, which
is a language model.
Yeah, it's just kind of confused people as to what an AI is. It's an AI language model specifically. It doesn't know the factuality of words or statements. It is able to see how often these words and in what ways they are associated with each other and effectively make logical conclusions from that and then present that information. The problem comes when people think that, oh no, this AI is actually smart.
It's thinking.
Yeah, people assume that it's correct rather than it's merely just playing a game of word association, which, oh, you asked me about these words, and these are the words most commonly said in association with it throughout the internet. One thing that I actually read recently that was hilarious. Are any of you familiar with the Legal Eagle YouTube channel?
Yes.
I am, yes.
He is amazing. I highly recommend any of our listeners out there to watch him.
If you're ever in California and you're getting sued, check out Legal Eagle.
Actually, he has started a law firm that is soliciting people across the country. So it seems like he's kind of formed like a network of lawyers that all are under a banner. Anyway, regardless, a couple weeks ago there was a fun video he did about a lawyer that got in trouble because he used Chat GPT to do his legal research for a case. And Chat GPT straight up made up cases. It made up case precedents and case law that never happened. Like, this guy submitted his brief to the court. He submitted in his brief to the court, precedents from Bob versus State of Virginia or whatever, but that case never happened. It doesn't exist. It's in no law book anywhere. And
this goes back to the dangers of, well, because you're already saying, ChatGPT doesn't actually think about anything. ChatGPT just knows how to assemble words. ChatGPT assembles words based on existing words. And it doesn't matter a legal example like this is a great example. I was going to bring up anything having to do with the higher sciences or higher maths. If you ask it an opinion about, say, I'm just going to pull out genetic sequencing. If you ask it opinions, not processes or how it's done, then it's going to start pulling from forums where people are just throwing out ideas, science fiction blogs, all this crap, and it's going to state it to you like it's a fact. But no, it found it somewhere, and wherever it found it is not guaranteed to be a legitimate source. So yeah, this is a great example of why it is not smart. It does not think. It assembles. It's very good at it, but that's what it does.
Do you think the reason Elon seems to be so stupid is that he actually has secretly, without any telling anyone, implanted a neural link into his brain. Like he decided to guinea pig himself, and now just some like half-assed fucking AI is, ChatGPT is training itself off of like the bullshit that's constantly regurgitated on Twitter, which is mostly a circle jerk of right-wing assholes who love Elon Musk. So, that Elon just thinks, like that's just what Elon Musk has become.
Oh. First of all, if anyone hasn't seen the movie, if you haven't seen the movie Upgrade, go ahead and watch that. Very relevant to what you just said. The other thing that sprang to mind was Westworld, season 3, I think.
His name was Upgrade, spelled with 2 D's for a double dose of pleasure.
Oh my god. Yes.
Name that reference.
Oh, Idiocracy.
There you go.
Goddamn right.
Probably one of the greatest movies ever. Because I would vote for Camacho for president.
He's won several Academy Awards for Best Actor in a Pornographic Film. Of course I want him to be president.
Go back to the strikes and whatnot in Hollywood. I will say, on Friday, I did something for the first time in my life. I watched 2 movies in theater on the same day. I did Barbenheimer.
How was Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I guess it would be Oppenby. The meme is Barbenheimer, but we watched Oppenheimer first, which really is the smart thing to do because Oppenheimer is 3 hours long, and you want to do the endurance run first because, like,
and then you want to have a light jog. Yeah.
Both movies are fucking excellent. Like, holy crap, both movies are fantastic. I highly recommend them both. I also just want to say how hilarious it is, the fact that of the 2 movies released on the same day, one of them about Barbie dolls, and the other one about the development of the nuclear bomb. Guess which one is causing the most political turmoil among the right?
Definitely the one about the Barbie dolls.
It's amazing.
Definitely the movie that's attacking the patriarchy. Yeah.
It's amazing.
How very upsetting.
Like, when I walked out of the Barbie movie, the first thing I said, I turned to my girlfriend and her friend who we went with, and I was like, I am surprised at how much that movie had to say. Like,
yeah.
It is a very funny, fun, silly, stupidly silly movie. I mean, they're Barbies. Like, it's actual Barbies, anthropomorphized Barbies. So, like, it's got all the stupidity and the ridiculousness that you might anticipate, but that movie has a lot to say, and it makes and it says it well. Highly recommend both movies. And yeah, I don't think you'd be disappointed. The craziest thing about Oppenheimer, and the reason why I'm the thing that most impresses me with it, it doesn't feel like a 3-hour movie. Like, 3-hour movie, no intermission, and at no point was I like, holy crap, I've been sitting here for like 2 hours, I want this to be done. Like it did an amazing job of, like, it was amazingly well constructed, cinematographically, cinematographically, I don't know. It's a fucking great movie. That's a great movie. That's my point. Highly recommend it.
Without getting into spoilers or anything like that, and we can all... Zero, have you seen Oppenheimer?
I have not. I was planning on possibly going this weekend.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, when we've all seen the movie, I'm more than happy to talk about it. The one thing that stood out to me in Oppenheimer that I could have done without is the epic Hans Zimmer score that plays during the conversation scenes. That's not necessary to me. But that aside, the It is a credit to the writing. It's the same thing where you go and you see Hateful Eight, or you go and see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino films, just generally, they are long movies, but I never feel like I'm watching a long movie because the dialogue is engaging. What's happening is well scripted, well written. So yeah,
I will agree to a certain point, but I felt like some of his movies have. I've gotten to a point with Tarantino where I feel like he likes to. His movies are very masturbatory, I think.
Oh, extremely, yeah.
No, let's be fair here. Because it's Tarantino, they're not masturbatory. We'll just say he likes to suck his own toes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Good. I was going to bring in the fact that, if you don't think Quentin Tarantino's films are masturbatory, the next time you watch one, pay attention to how many shoeless women there are.
He has such a raging foot fetish, and he is not remotely embarrassed by it. And honestly, I respect him for it.
Wrote or co-wrote From Dusk Till Dawn, and then he gave himself the part of the guy who gets to drink tequila off of Salma Hayek's feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
look. I'm feet are gross. I have always thought that feet are gross, but
It's true.
I will honestly say that if given half of a chance, I would drink tequila off of Selma Hayek's foot.
All right. Well, when's your next birthday?
Next June. So yes, please.
She follows us on X.
See, when this was announced, when I saw that, it got to me because the first thing that popped in my head was the ZZ Top song. Heard it on the X, and I was like, Christ, that is marketing genius, that he could probably buy the rights to that song for next to nothing from Billy Gibbons. And
he has absolutely no idea that ZZ Top exists.
Oh yeah, no, you're probably right. I mean, honestly, at this point, ZZ Top doesn't know ZZ Top exists.
No, I mean, I'm not. That's not a diss to ZZ Top. Like, I know I enjoy their music. I'm just saying, Elon is not the sort of person who knows that band exists. He barely knows that AC/DC exists. The only reason he knows that AC/DC exists is because he's seen a Michael Bay film. He seems like the sort who would go enjoy a Michael Bay film. Fuck you, Michael Bay.
I couldn't hear you over the explosions.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, in better news, Witcher Season 3, Foundation Season 2, Oppenheimer is a great movie. You just go see it. It's excellent. Oh, that was the other thing about Oppenheimer. And Barbie. There is really nothing scandalous about either of those movies. They're movies that have a message. They're exploring concepts and principles. Barbie is doing it in a very lighthearted way.
In Oppenheimer, there's people are kind of like, why is that there?
Yeah, so was I too. But I was so disappointed because one of the things. My point is, there's nothing controversial about either of those movies. Not really. So, I mean, people like
Barbie is legitimately causing controversy. Whether that controversy is... the movie is legitimately causing controversy. The controversy is not legitimate, but it is legitimately causing controversy.
Exactly. So if there's nothing for people to get upset about, then they have to invent things to get upset about, which is why I've seen articles about Oppenheimer where it's the 20 minutes of the movie goes by and not a single woman speaks, and then 1 minute after the woman speaks, there's a sex scene. So
I mean, to be fair, the movie took place from 1929 through 1968. So, yeah. I mean, let's be honest, women weren't given much attention.
No, yeah, exactly. You want to bullshit your way through history and lie to people and say, oh, yeah, everybody was getting along and there was equality in the workplace. Yeah. No, there was not.
How many women were among the top-level scientists working on the Manhattan Project? Not many? Okay, well, yeah, I wonder why they didn't have much, time to talk in the movie.
You want to get more into history? The first time black people were allowed to participate in a science project, they were actually calculators in the first Apollo missions. Back when a
Yep.
calculator was a person, it was a job description of people that just checked math. So yeah,
God, that was such a good fucking movie.
what, Oppenheimer or
No, the Hidden Figures or whatever it was.
Hidden Figures. Yes.
Such a good fucking movie.
It's a fantastic movie and also historically accurate. Another movie that people should go and see about the space program, the early days of the United States space program. But yeah, the other thing that I saw was, the other article for Oppenheimer was, it's a movie about how the United States developed a bomb that murdered 250,000 Japanese people, and there are no Japanese people in the movie. So, yeah, because that's not the point.
But, like, the movie isn't about Hiroshima. The movie isn't about, the dropping of the bomb. The movie is about the making. It's not even about the making of the bomb.
It's about the man. It's a
biopic about Oppenheimer's life before, during, and after the Manhattan Project. So, like, Oppenheimer before, during, and after, like, he never was in Japan. He was not piloting a plane, dropping a bomb. Like, that's not a relevant part of his life story in a way that it needs to be featured on the show or the movie. So, yeah, bad criticism is bad.
Mm-hmm. Your criticism is bad, and you should feel bad.
Pretty much.
That is. So yeah, don't listen. My point is that it's not worthwhile. If you see people criticizing these movies for whatever value, just don't. Don't engage. Go see the movies. They're good. And Oppenheimer's it's actually an original thing. It's not based on an existing property. It's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's not setting up a universe. It's just a story about a hugely relevant scientific figure.
You know what? The Barbie movie is, in fact, about dismantling the patriarchy, and it is, in fact, tackling some of these political topics. But it's right, and you should fucking watch it, and if you have a problem with it, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, it makes a lot of great points, including the fact that the patriarchy, toxic masculinity, harms men. It's not just like men bad, women good. It's society is bad for everybody, and gender norms and toxic gender roles are not just bad for women, they are bad for everybody. And it's fucking true. So fucking watch it, and if you got a problem with it, maybe learn something from it.
But I don't go to the movies to learn.
Yeah, I like roller coasters.
Like, what's kind of funny is I feel like Oppenheimer was like clearly an amazing movie, but like in the grand scheme of thing, I truly feel like Barbie had more to say. Barbie was, I think a more significant movie, a more significant statement by the creators.
Yeah. Character studies are not for everybody. That is so. And yeah, Oppenheimer is very much focusing on the doctor. So no, yeah. What can we say that we haven't already said? Fucking watch these movies. They're good movies.
Both of them. Highly recommended.
And that was the last thing. Article that said like, there's so much inappropriate sex in Oppenheimer. There's full frontal nudity, and I read that before I went out. I was like, cool. And to my disappointment, there's no full frontal nudity. There's Cillian Murphy sitting in a chair, cross-legged. That's it.
Yeah, there's boobs, but there's no puss.
There's no bush. There's no dick. There's no vagina. Plenty of bobs. Oh well.
But yeah, it's a fun movie. Both are good. Watch them both. That's my recommendation.
So yeah, all right. Just speed through these. Microsoft wins the FTC fight by Activision Blizzard. This was last week, which we couldn't cover. But yeah, it happened. California judges allowing Microsoft to close an acquisition of Activision Blizzard 5 days after grueling testimony. Microsoft still faces an ongoing antitrust case by the FTC, but Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley has listened to arguments from both the FTC and Microsoft and decided to deny the regulator's request for a preliminary injunction. Following this, Blizzard put Overwatch 2 on Steam. It'll be available in August.
I think a more fun way to read that last sentence you spoke there from the article is you just replaced the FCC with Sony, because that's really what happened here.
Oh, 100%.
Fucking
Okay, yeah,
Sony lost.
I've heard this. I've heard this from Zero. Zero's opinion, I think, was that this whole thing was just the FTC battling in favor of Sony, and I haven't seen that. So if you got thoughts, I'm interested in listening.
Well, I mean, Sony filed briefs on behalf of on the side of the FCC. Like, it was Sony's complaint that Activision, or that Microsoft buying Activision would harm PlayStation users. Like, so it was Sony that, you know, the FCC is obviously the one they sued to stop from happening, but it was at the behest of Sony, basically. Because the whole argument was that it would harm Sony's customers because reasons, and those reasons were bullshit. And I'm glad the court felt that way too. But yeah, this was literally Sony losing.
So the funniest part about it is, after this, there was more negotiation on Sony's part to or Sony finally signed whatever deal they could with Activision to ensure games still came to PlayStation, and Microsoft got what they wanted. I mean, let's just call a spade here. Microsoft got exactly what they wanted, because the deal that was signed by Sony only brings Call of Duty to the PlayStation platform, to the Sony platforms for the next 10 years. No other game was signed, just Call of Duty.
Is Diablo 3 available on PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's across all the platforms. Not Mac, though, as Whoopi Goldberg will be quick to remind you.
That was a great story.
So, but no, Sony ended up playing themselves, and they ended up playing themselves, and it is fucking hilarious. The most anti-consumer company in the world played themselves.
I mean,
hard.
Like I said, we're at the point of capitalism where companies are trying to fight each other in court rather than in the marketplace. And I am very happy in this case that it didn't work.
Okay, all right. So quick here, just before we move on. Ubisoft has enacted a new policy, I guess. If your account is inactive for, I think, 2 years, they will send you an email and inform you that they are going to delete your account within 30 days if you don't log in or click a link in the email that they send you. So this has been covered by a lot of news agencies, and some of them have omitted very important facts. For example, there's the 2-year inactivity period. If you stop logging into Ubisoft for a month, they're not going to delete your account. That's not how this works. There is a long period of inactivity before. That aside, I think this is kind of bullshit.
So delete your account. Does that mean that you lose access to the games that you paid for?
Yes.
That's how I read this, yes.
Yeah, that can't be legal. Like, isn't there like a EULA that says like that we agreed to when we downloaded that, or paid for and then downloaded that game? Yes, maybe not even downloaded, when we bought the game. Doesn't the EULA lay out the terms of like the agreement we made when we
Here's the thing that always goes through my head. It's whenever you install a game and you click accept on the EULA, that's great that you've clicked that button, but at the end of the day, that's just paper. Doesn't mean anything in court, especially if you live in a state like I do that has vicious pro-consumer laws.
God, yes.
Yeah, Massachusetts is the best place to be a consumer in my opinion. But that's the whole thing. Ubisoft probably thinks that they can just get away with this because, oh, you clicked the EULA, you agreed to a tribunal in a state and location of our choosing, and you can't do anything about this because you agree. No, this is not going to hold up state to state. This is going to be a huge, colossal fucking mess, as far as I'm concerned. So I can't speak to the longevity of this if it even gets enacted. I'm not even sure if this is happening to people yet.
Oh no, the whole reason it got brought up is because somebody got the fucking email.
Oh Christ. Is that in here?
I still don't understand the why.
Oh, Pon. Yeah, somebody on Twitter did post, I lost my Ubisoft account and all my Steam games I bought. They are now useless. So, Ubisoft Steam games. So, I own Ubisoft titles on Steam. If they delete my Ubisoft account, my Steam games become useless? This is going to court.
If you that's one of those games where if you have it through Steam just is like a meta link that opens your Ubisoft browser or your Ubisoft client that then loads the game. Yeah. So there's a few games like that are from third-party companies that have their own launchers. I know Rockstar games are the same way. You can buy them on Steam, and then it just opens up your Rockstar Social Club browser.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't think that this is not universally enforceable. I have a feeling that if anyone tackles this first, it'll likely be the EU. If it's even getting applied in the EU, Jesus Christ.
Speaking of which, last I heard, I do not think the Microsoft deal, I think that's still up in the air in the EU.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's still technically up in the air here because there has to be they're going through. They're still facing the FTC suit. They just the FTC has just been denied their injunction to stop. So Microsoft is not quite done, but it's looking real good for them in the US. In the EU, not so much.
We'll have to keep our eye on the story.
So something tells me them introducing their games on Steam is their workaround to using the EU market, or to utilizing the EU market. I just happened to think about that.
So they can point to that and say, like, see, we're letting other companies, we're selling it elsewhere, we're allowing competition, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if they aren't allowed to purchase or if it doesn't go through according to EU, then the Blizzard launcher wouldn't be available in EU. But Steam is always available in EU. It's already there. So they're not going to take all of that away. So Blizzard starts putting their product on Steam. They're still getting money from those people. Plus, they're getting more money because people are having to buy the game again, who have already bought it through the Blizzard launcher that's no longer available in the EU.
Well, no, but the Blizzard launcher isn't not going to be available. It's just that Microsoft isn't going to be able to own Activision Blizzard in the EU. So there should be nothing wrong with the Blizz launcher.
They'll just spin off the subsidiary.
But no, that is interesting. If Microsoft owns ActiBliz in the United States and they market through Steam, is that a legal loophole? I hadn't thought of that.
I don't know, because the big thing that Sony was, I mean, it's a cross-platform thing. Like, Steam is still PC. So, right. I mean, I guess if Microsoft is claiming that they're Xbox, but like you can get like Xbox Game Pass on PC. So it's not I'm not too sure if Steam alone will get them clear of that, but if it does, it's a shrewd choice.
Yeah, I'll give that further thought when I'm in the hypothetical argument simulator later.
Yes.
What was that? the last thing, and then so that's it. The Ubisoft thing. I expect that there will be more news regarding the decision for Ubisoft to delete inactive accounts and cause people to lose access to the games that they have paid for. I expect that will be challenged, as it should be.
That's so fucked.
And then the last thing here was a fun article that I think you posted, Omega, about Steven Spielberg predicting the implosion of the film industry.
Yeah, I just like to see people that matter agreeing with my opinion that mainly Marvel movies suck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so the reason Steven Spielberg said this was that he predicted an explosion is inevitable, whereby half a dozen or so $250 million plus movies flop at the box office and alter the industry forever. This follows with the decline in popularity of Marvel movies, although I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is doing pretty decently. And basically everything non-Marvel that Disney has put out in recent memory. Every single live-action remake of every single cartoon that they made is just awful.
I've heard Elemental's pretty good.
It hasn't even crossed my radar. Is that a Pixar?
Yeah.
Pixar production? Yeah, I'm usually pretty on top of Pixar, but I haven't even heard of it. Yeah, so this was just a fun read going through basically how I wouldn't say that streaming services are killing the theaters, although they kind of definitely are. We're looking at movies that, with the exception of Oppenheimer and Barbie that we talked about extensively, we're not talking about genuinely interesting movies that are coming out into theater, and I don't think that Spielberg's Indiana Jones, his and Lucas's recent Indiana Jones movie did all that well in theaters.
It did terribly.
I saw it, but it didn't do too hot.
I haven't seen it. I'm kind of done out. I mean, I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull just for the memes, and apart from that, I thought it was kind of dreadful.
I think I talked about it a little bit after I saw it. I think your enjoyment of the movie will depend heavily on your expectations going in to see it. And by that, I mean, if you go into it expecting a serious, kind of movie, you're going to be pretty disappointed. If you go into it thinking, all right, this is the 5th Indiana Jones movie. I want all the Indiana Jones schlock. Give me all the Indiana Jones fan service. Give me all of it. If you want it, it's all there. It's like, yeah. At first, I didn't really like it. I was like, that was really kind of bad. And then I was talking with my girlfriend after we saw it, and she was like, yeah, but like, if you just enjoy it for what it was, which was basically all of the Indiana Jones tropes crammed into one farewell movie, and you just enjoy it for what it is, I guess there's something there to enjoy. But
wait, how many people, because I haven't seen the latest Indiana Jones movie, how many people does Indiana Jones straight up murder on screen?
I don't remember, honestly.
Does he at all? Where I'm going with this is back in the 70s and 80s when they made the first 3 Indiana Jones movies, dude killed scores of people. And
there was the beginning scene. There was a beginning scene that involved some deaths. Yeah. So people died.
Oh man. I mean, people died in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull too. It's just that it happened off screen, except for the one guy who got eaten by the anthill. I guess he died. I mean, he pretty much have to, right? He's getting eaten by fire ants. So I just presume that he died, even though we didn't see it. But,
it's a rough way to go.
There was a, I don't know if you guys remember the show on Spike TV, 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show was great. There was one
about
a guy dying from being eaten alive by fire ants. That was also in the same episode that they talked about the guy butt chugging alcohol and dying from that.
Well, the butt chugging alcohol is a real thing, though. Very easy to OD on alcohol when you're inserting it rectally. I know because a friend of mine tried.
Right, a friend of yours. Perfect.
Yes, that would be Dr. Wiggle.
Dr. Wiggle.
Yep. Oh, and Omega will remember it was... I think that her name was Taylor Rain. She was a porn star, and back in college there was a BTS scene that I'm pretty sure I showed to Omega where she was talking about how to do cocaine anally.
Good Lord, man.
So I know that you can get drunk by putting booze up your ass, and you can get high by putting cocaine in your ass. I'm not sure about any other drugs, but I know those two.
I believe I read some just old like stories about like drugs back in the 70s and shit, and women would put ecstasy, like you just put an ecstasy tab in your vagina, and your body will absorb it. It's a very, absorptive mucous membrane.
So what's the male equivalent of that? We stick MDMA in our urethra.
Oh, yeah, God. Sounding.
We sound MDMA. I mean, it's fine, and if it's uncomfortable, you just pee.
No, you gotta get it real deep, all the way into the bladder.
Oh. That's so far. There are so many curves. It's like under the sink plumbing up inside you, boy.
There's a pee trap. Get it?
There is. That's literally what it's shaped like. Oh, man. Well, this has been great. We talked about all my favorite things. Movies, making fun of Elon Musk, and putting things into our urethras.
Well, there's only one thing that we missed. And we haven't talked about it in 2 weeks.
Oh no, Warframe?
Oh my God, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Warframe's doing good. They had another update. There's a new Warframe out. I'm still going in and enjoying myself from time to time. I just don't talk about it. I don't want to make a big deal about it, but it's still fun. And there's an L through Lilith. Wait, no, that wasn't an L through Lilith. That was an objective. Okay. What the hell is Fluffy talking about? Oh, strongholds. Yeah.
One problem with my necro build, I did a stronghold, tried to do a stronghold, and I'm able to get through all the trash, and then the boss proved to be too difficult because they pretty much one-shot my my minions, all my skeletons.
Are you on
which
World
one
Tier
are you
4?
doing?
Oh no, World Tier 2. Still, I'm only level 34.
Yeah, is there which one is it?
Which one was it? Mordane Lodge?
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, that one's a pain in the ass.
No, I haven't played that one. Yeah, I think it was that one up there.
The Lodge.
I've completed all the ones in Fractured Peaks and like 2 of them in the rest of the zones.
Okay, so that's that. That was a good catch up. It was a good week. Recoup.
We didn't talk about the absolute shit show that was the preseason patch for Diablo.
Oh, the Nerf bomb.
Yeah, that made them come out and say, "Hey guys, we'll never do that again.
We're sorry.
If we're gonna nerf things, we'll let you know well in advance."
Yeah, it's not we're never going to do that again. It's like, yeah, we'll do a better job of communicating how hard we're going to nerf everything so that you guys can get a leg up on your complaining, and then we'll do it anyway. It's their game.
Honestly,
they're going to balance it how they want to.
Like, I'll reiterate my position, and I think it's borne out by the fact, now that I am actually playing in season. If you're playing your Eternal character and you look at what happened, and yeah, your shit sucks. You're way worse, you're squishier, you do less damage. But you start a new character in season 1, and this is the new normal. The way I see it is when the game was released, it was fucking overtuned. It needed, this wasn't a nerf or a buff. This you can't think of it in those terms. You think of it as like, all right, from launch to the beginning of season 1 was an extended post alpha. That's that's what I'm calling it. It's like a post beta, and this is a new update. This is like, okay, yeah, shit was overtuned. People were absolutely dominating, and shit was unbalanced. Vulnerability damage was way too valuable. It was just everything was unbalanced, and I think the long-term game is going to be better for it. And again, if you're just starting a new character in the season, well, there's new shit. You're starting over. You're not losing anything because you're starting from nothing and building from there. So shut up and play the game and have fun.
The other thing where I think this is coming from a couple different directions. First of all, it's the MMO players who are, they're not taking into account that this is a Blizzard, this is a Diablo game. Diablo games take years to balance, and Diablo 3 was no different. But for the returning Diablo 3 players, we've been used to not getting nerfs. We've been used to getting buffs, usually insane buffs, as seasons progressed in D3 for the past, 4 or 5 years. Basically to the point where the devs were trying to break the game or see how people would be able to break the game with the new features. So that is always exciting. But you could take a similar attitude whenever a season was over in Diablo 3 by saying, oh, they took away my insane season gems, they took away my insane, season abilities and all the rest of that. Oh, now the game sucks again. Until the next season rolls around. So, yeah, I agree that people are most likely just looking for shit to complain about in D4. And that's not necessary.
Well, and a lot of the complaints are like just generic complaints. It's not anything that hasn't been heard that I didn't hear when I was playing WoW.
Oh yeah. So that's the other thing. Yeah, there's the people who are actually writing comprehensive critiques of like how mechanics work and everything like that. And okay, I'll listen to the thought that you've put into your critique. But everybody else is just like saying, buff Druid, it sucks. No, that's not helpful.
Well, it's like they said, what was it? Somebody said, oh, Rogue sucks now because, they tanked vulnerable damage. I have not had problem 1 with my Rogue this season. Yeah, okay, I'm a little bit squishy, but I'm a Rogue. I'm supposed to be constantly moving around and not face tanking bosses. That's just not how that works.
I think Omega addressed that real well because the nerf bomb happened before the season actually started, I believe, by at least a week. Yeah, a couple days. So that sort of shit, that nerf for Rogue specifically, or most of these nerfs, impacted players who were really up there in their levels. They were legacy characters that were 90, 100 Paragon. So yeah, at that I understand about how at that level the nerf is very noticeable and possibly annoying. But yeah, for characters that are under 50, for people starting new characters, yeah, it's like Omega just said. You're starting a new character, that's just something you work around.
It's a new normal. And we are, as D3 players, used to insane buffs every season, but that's on top of that's on top of a core game that has spent 10 years being fine-tuned and balanced. so they know what they can do and they know how to fuck it with it. This game needed to be retuned.
Yeah.
It's better for the long-term health of the game. It's going to be better for the long-term health of the game. I truly believe that.
We're praying to God that Actipliz learned from everything that they did in Diablo 3, and they're not gonna. I mean, they already did a great thing by not including any sort of auction house in Diablo 4. That's already phenomenal. But yeah, just hoping they don't repeat the same mistakes. And eventually get to the point where we can have screens full of monsters just wiping out things with absolutely insane builds. That will be the day. But let it get there. It'll get there. Gonna take a little while. Oh, man. All right. So yeah, good times. Good podcast. Going over for an hour. So we'll call it here, and hopefully do this again next week.
Yeah.
So, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming along and joining us. And we'll see you same time, same place next week. Penis, fuck Putin, fuck Winnie the Pooh.
Fuck Nestle.
Fuck it.
Yeah.